Kris, describe what you've seen in Phoenix. How are people dealing with this near record-breaking heat?
Well, the smart ones are staying inside if they can. I mean, we're talking about 118, 120 degrees, and it's hard to describe it other than like taking your hairdryer, putting it on hot, and having it hit you from all directions at all times throughout the day. It is really intensely hot here now that we've entered the hottest part of the day, which is about 3:30 to 7:30 or so in the afternoon. People think noon might be the hottest. It gets hotter as the day goes on here, and it is right now just stiflingly hot. People in Arizona are used to the heat, so they are somewhat smart about how to handle this. But you get worried about folks whose air conditioning isn't working, or if there are power outages. We have seen a number of heat-related calls, more than 50 over the last couple of days, because of this weather.
And as you've reported, it is so hot there that planes are actually unable to fly. Explain that to us. What more can you tell us?
Sure, and this isn't all planes. We're talking about regional jets. Those small planes that your bag doesn't fit in the overhead bin.
Okay, yeah.
Some of those planes, when it gets to be 118 degrees, they can't generate enough lift to safely take off on the length of runway here. So they essentially have to wait till it cools off. Your bigger planes, your Boeing and your Airbus, they're good to 126, 127, and we're nowhere near that. So the vast majority of flights in and out of Phoenix are operating normally, but they have canceled about 50, another 10 being delayed to wait out this really hot part of the day.
Yeah, I was curious about that, Kris, because when I lived in Africa, planes took off all the time. So I'm glad that you clarified that it is those smaller jets, those regional jets, that will have difficulty in the kind of heat people are experiencing out there. I want to ask you also about that deadly car crash that was caused by a dust storm near the Arizona-New Mexico border. What more can you tell us about that?
Well, that's being blamed in part on the heat we have here. There's a giant ridge of high pressure that interacted with that dust storm to increase the winds, and that fueled some of the blinding dust storm winds that led into this crash. But, we know that there were something like 18 trucks and multiple passenger cars involved. 6 people died. That includes an infant. This was a nasty, nasty accident on Interstate 10 right around the Arizona-New Mexico border that came out of just the heat conditions we have here.
That's a terrible story. Kris Van Cleave in Phoenix. Stay hydrated. Kris, thank you very much.
Sure thing.